Hello everyone, welcome to the Ichimoku charts.com daily analysis for the Aussie dollar US dollar FX for Wednesday, May 29th, 2013. Well, a continuation of the trend to the downside today, and the candle that we're analysing here is the second last candle on the chart. That is the candle that has completed trading for today. The final candle that has developed significantly is still trading at the moment and won't be finalised for quite some time, so we can't fully analyse that candle at the moment, but we can make mention of some characteristics of it, and I will after we analyse the final candle here. But just looking at the candle that has finished trading, another small bodied candle, and certainly these three small bodies here in a row does suggest that we do have quite some weakness from the sellers here at the moment. We're not seeing any follow through as we have seen in this very strong first time frame downtrend over the last few weeks or so. And this is really setting this market up for a potential termination of this first time frame downtrend, and potentially for this market to trade to higher levels. The three small bodies here suggest that whereas the market was making very solid net bearish progress, as evidenced by these very large black bodied shadows, a lot of that downside momentum from the sellers has dried up. And it suggests that the sellers aren't as strong as they previously were, and that's what sets this market up for that potential change of trend. With this current candle, we also have another spinning top type candle, as we've seen for the last couple of days, and that suggests indecision in this market. But we have a white body candle, and so we have seen the buyers find some momentum, only a very small amount in net terms, so that suggests a potential change of trend. But also, we've seen the buyers take control of this market, not strong control, but they have closed between the midpoint level and the high, and that suggests that there has been a change in momentum. And if we look at the previous few days, the sellers had control. Yesterday, the day before that, we saw neither side in control, and prior to that, the sellers had very strong control. So there is potential for us to see a change in sentiment, and an opportunity for the buyers to come back into this market and change the trend. Now, looking at this final candle as it's developing, we are seeing a change of trend at the moment as this candle is developing. We do have a candle with a higher high and a higher low, so there is potential for this market to trade higher. Only problem here is that it hasn't finished developing, so there is a possibility for the market being rejected from where it's trading at the moment and taking out the low of this current candle and establishing it or maintaining that prior trend to the downside. Now, importantly though, the market is interacting with the important 96.62 level of resistance. Previous support and prior to that was a very strong level of support, and the market has been rejected from there for 3 consecutive days where it was supported below this area previously, so there is a good possibility of the market being rejected back to the downside. Now, if we are rejected back to the downside, we do have solid support down at 95.81 and then extending down to 95.36, and very solid support down below. So we are seeing this market bound by strong overhead resistance but very strong support down below. So we are waiting for this market to really make its mind up and determine overall direction. Now, obviously, with the market trading down below our Ichimoku indicators, we will be looking for the sellers to come back into this market and let them determine our overall direction in the market, and that would be in line with those higher time frames, so potential for the market to trade down to lower levels. But we will be watching for a potentially strong close down below the 95.36, a strongly bearish close, and that would give us some faith in the market testing down to the 93.86 level if that does occur. No solid support until the market trades down to that 93.86 level, but as I've mentioned, I'd like to see a strong bearish close down below the 95.36 level for us to have confidence in the market testing down to that lower level. By the same token, the upside 96.62, strong resistance, but also we have the Tenkan Sen at 96.84 trading close by, and that has potential to offer very strong resistance. And also just above there we saw this minor swing low where the market found some support, and that has potential to offer itself as resistance now too, and that's at 97. So solid resistance overhead. Now, in terms of the Fibonacci extension, we're examining the relationship of this current first time frame downtrend that the market's in, and we can only go by this candle that's finalized at the moment, that officially that trend hasn't changed until that current candle finishes trading. But we have seen the market interacting with 38.2% for the now 4 of the last 5 trading days, and the market has failed to close down below there, and all of this does suggest that there is good potential for the market to retrace back to higher levels. Even looking at this current candle as it's developing, we've seen price rejection from below the 38.2% level once again, so there is good potential for the market to trade to higher levels. Now, examining the Fibonacci retracement, we're in an expansive mode of that, and this 161.8% level has been tested very often. Previous days trading to today, we did see a bearish close down below the 161.8%. It did suggest that the market could trade to lower levels. We did see the market trade to lower levels, and here we saw the 261.8% level roughly come into play, and we saw very strong upside price rejection from there, with the market failing to close down below the 161.8% level again. So that does suggest potential for a change of trend back to the upside. But if the market does fail to maintain that potential uptrend and does trade lower, then obviously the 261.8% level may come into play again, and that's at 94.98, roughly 95, and will be a very important level for this market. Now, in terms of Ichimoku, obviously a bearish market in all 3 timeframes. The market is currently trading down below the cloud, so we have a bearish bias in the long-term timeframe, trading below the Kijun Sen, the pink line here, and that is pointing down, and we have to ignore that flat bit here because that area hasn't finalized trading yet, so highlighting some decent downside momentum still in this market, and also trading down below the Tenkan Sen, and that's pointing down quite sharply. So a bearish market in the long-term time frame, the medium-term time frame, and the fast-term time frame. The Chica span here is still down below the corresponding price action, so it's confirming the negativity that we're seeing in this market in all 3 time frames. As I've mentioned many times, when we have a market with very solid first time frame downside momentum, the Tenkan Sen tends to be the first area that the market finds resistance, and then it bounces back off to the downside from there. So we have seen the market find resistance here at the Tenkan Sen for the previous day's trading, and we will be watching that very closely for the potential resistance around there, and that does suggest that there is potential for the market to bounce down off there and the sellers to come back in, so we do need to be aware of that, bearing in mind we do have solid support down below. Looking at where the market is trading in relative terms to the cloud and the Kijun Sen, we are trading a long way away from there, especially from the cloud, and the market is looking a little bit overextended at the moment. Now, combined with a lot of this indecisive trading with these small body candles here, it certainly wouldn't surprise to see the market retrace substantially to the upside to try to find that equilibrium suggested by the cloud, and that is a long way away. So we could potentially see the market trade up to the 98.59 level if we do see some bullish activity up above the Tenkan Sen and above this strong resistance at 96.62, so let's be aware of that. But moving forward, we do need to watch this market and react to the how it interplays with the strong resistance overhead, but also watch how the market reacts to the solid support down below.